Yeah, you didn't expect this one, did ya? Surprise! This shit kinda piqued my interest. I didn't think out of all the games this one would get a sequel, let alone something that looks a lot more outlandish. YIIK Nameless Psychosis could be best described as some sneak peek or tech demo to an up-and-coming game called YIIK IV. Yeah, because their player base are going to be slipping into comas when playing it. A bold reimagining and expansion of YIIK, a postmodern RPG. And if you want to know about that game...
Think about, we went to his funeral last night. Where the hell were you?
No. Remember when I touched the android? She took me away into her stupid mind dimension and...
None of that matters anymore, Alex! Rory is dead!
Why the hell would he kill himself?
It was pretty fucking stunted. The first YIIK was suffering the pain of being hit by 1,000 flying objects. There were problems with it. From an uninspired battle system, writing that feels like it took inspiration from a 4chan post, lengthy dialogue, supporting characters and personalities that were more akin to special needs preteens than actual adults, utilizing the death of a real woman, and the main protagonist pretty much being a Seth Rogen Louis C.K. insert, rambling on about shit.
On April 4th, 1999, I arrived home from school. I just graduated. It took a few semesters longer than I originally planned, but I was proud to be done.
Seeing as how it had a spindly mustache. Although, now that I reflected on it, facial hair was not exclusive to male animals or male humans for that. She didn't know elevators. I doubted she'd know her 20th century Spanish Catalan surrealist painters all that well either.
That game was suffering from a lot of missteps, not really helped by the game's creator pulling out this lovely meme for all of us to see.
My mistake was thinking that video games are art. I wanted to make a game about a guy who's like a piece of shit, unlikable character who by the end of the game has to transform. But too many gamers, they're so used to having to identify with the character that if they play a game where the main character is unlikable or has to do some bad stuff, they immediately get triggered by it. So the thing is, games aren't art.
Shout the season, man. Shout the season, man. Yo, I'm this.
This sort of tribute to the games of the past feels like someone wanted to write something to rival Homestuck, without the fat lesbians, rather than paying their respects to the likes of Earthbound or the Persona series, whilst doing their own thing, and failing at it in multiple ways. Now, what I'll say is that I have respect for people who can actually put in the time to complete and release their own game. I've known loads of people who have started working on their own games but either dropped out due to other commitments or have constantly changed their ideas on what they wanted to make. Hell, I've been in that same spot where I started working on my own game but struggled due to lack of motivation and other commitment to other projects, and I've been chipping at it ever since. Unfinished game coming soon. So as much as I want to rag on the first game for being bad in so many ways, I cannot take away the fact that it was made by people who were extremely dedicated and passionate about it, and wanted it to succeed, and share their creativity with the wider public, to prove to everyone that they can make games. Plus, sometimes the first game doesn't always go to plan, but what that can do is act as a stepping stone in the right direction, learn from it, and figure out what worked and what didn't. Since then, it has kinda gathered a cult following for how fucking tone deaf it is. It achieved a status so shitty that it actually has fans and defenders of it. Or am I being generous?
I think it's important to answer a question that has been lingering for a long time. What is a postmodern RPG?
I didn't really know what to expect going into this, so if I get shit wrong somewhere down the line, don't be surprised. I'm not really the most savvy when it comes to YIIK, but I try my best to find all the information I can, and try to be down to earth as possible when talking about it, because I'm not a fucking hack. Running Shine may have beaten me to the first game, but I sure as hell beaten them to Nameless Psychosis. If you're worried about the YIIK canon for some reason, and the way someone plays the chronology, don't be. I've played Team Fortress 2 before I played Team Fortress 1. Before we start, can we just take a moment real quick to look at the names of this? YIIK. Are these people doing okay? Do I need to get a vomit bucket? Get him that Walgreens shit, for God's sake. Studios are composed of the Allisons, who made YIIK, a postmodern RPG. They also made Two Brothers, a game that no one gives a shit about. Games are the publishers for this, who have actually published a few titles that might sound familiar to you. As well, YIIK, which is supposed to be Y2K, like the scare, but they put Roman numerals on that shit to make it look fancy. But it really tricks people into thinking that they are I's instead, hence this weird pronunciation. It's more of a sound effect if anything. And on that topic, all three of these words together sound like a bad time in the bathroom.
We met in a dream, a soon forgotten scene. We met in a dream, a world slipped through the seams.
This shit's actually pretty chill. The Crow? God, this remake looks horrible. Leave James O'Barr alone, will ya? He doesn't deserve this. Alright, who the fuck is playing the character? Vincent Perez or Eric Mabius? All this is done to reintroduce these characters from the previous game, whilst also introducing a couple new characters as well. Spoiler alert, only like 4 people you see here are actually in this demo. You got that right. I don't know what kind of ancient folk medicine the Allisons have been using, because this looks more off the walls than their first entry, going from a Persona intro into a BDSM session. After failing her Jackass audition, this new character called Allison ends up at rock bottom. Must be Cherry Pie Tuesday. Okay, never mind, this woman is no longer called Allison. She dropped a body slam so hard she lost her name. Now we gotta get her a new name so we can make it to some party out in the suburbs. How do we do that? We speak to this zombie here at the base of the mountain, to where we throw ourselves into a fire, speak to him again, and then a teleporter opens up. And this woman up here christens our character Carrie, which may be alluding to what happened in the first game.
12-year-old sister killed herself. She died right here. Right where we're standing.
Roy, relax. You don't have to go down there anymore.
I would be describing the plot to you, except this time around, I can't. This is a demo, and everything shown here is purely a means of showing everyone, hey look, this is what we got going down the line. Chris Chan punching a ginger. As a heads up, sometimes things end and cut to entirely different scenes, and not in a storytelling way, but it's more for display and foreshadowing. So to find the story in this demo is kind of an exercise in futility anyways. So now we're told to seek the good brother.
Wait.
Wait for me! Good brother!
What? You're not on the guest list. Shoo, get lost, nobody.
Cunt. So we gotta get an invite from this dude, who's having a birthday party and he's not fucking there? At his own party?
Why did you wake me? What do you want?
I was hoping you had an invitation for me. I'm trying to get to the party. I just get things mixed up from time to time.
Mixed up, huh? Well, you know it's my birthday party, right?
Hey, geez man, back it up. I can smell your Mentos breath for God's sake.
Well, I'll need something in exchange.
Oh no, run. Get out of there!
Oh, I don't have much. I'm only a child, you see.
Police should be knocking on my door any minute now.
I'll need your name for the invitation. You can have it back once the party is over.
Are names like currency now? How do they adjust for inflation?
You see, I only just got my name back.
Do you want to go to the party or not?
Hey, skin crawler, take it easy, will ya? Smoke weed, masturbate, murder, do whatever, but calm the fuck down. Have some dip, for goodness sake.
See you at the party. My, birthday party.
Eesh, sorry God, I didn't know you felt that way about Nintendo.
I must confess, I am destroyed you were invited to the party. You see, I am a traveling thespian. I was paid a handsome sum to reject you. Should we meet again in another dream, please pardon my greed.
Lovely stuff. This warning is useless in the demo. So now, we actually start a slightly more refined version of YIIK, a postmodern RPG, in which our main character here, Alex, the video game equivalent of a walking punching bag, comes back to his hometown of Fresno, California, after graduating college, and decides to head over to his mother's place. Since he doesn't have a place, and buying property in Cali is on par with buying an entire fucking continent. Immediately, the efforts of refinement start to show, as now instead of Alex dishing out his life story to us, Alex is now dishing out his life story to an audience. Like I'm watching an audition for SNL or something.
Not even home 5 minutes and she's already barking orders at me. I picture what it would be like to be the owner, and I imagine describing him to a friend.
Wait, does that say Master of Commerce? Jesus man, shit like this ain't gonna land you a platinum. This demo has a lot more cutscenes, which you could say adds a lot more character and feel to the dialogue. Like it feels a little more natural. In the original game, Alex would just go on these lengthy monologues on how he hates his mom or how he soiled himself in 5th grade. But we just see him talking. And talking. And talking.
You talk and you say, let me tell you something, and I just wanna say this. Well, you're dead now, so shut up.
Dead?
The original game was infamous for this. A lot of moments where the main characters would go on tangents about their personal life, their views, and whatever, as a means of getting the player invested into the character, lay out some exposition, or even provide character development. That's not to say long dialogue couldn't be great, but the writing is so fucking arbitrary that it really doesn't progress the story or really do anything. It feels like padding. The writing here is really akin to working on an essay and shoveling in as many words as they can to meet the max requirement. Keep in mind, this is a game where the visual eye strain consumes all of the surrounding area. It's not a fucking novel. I guess Andrew Ellison wanted the characters to sound as smart and interesting as possible, so he tried jamming every word from every dictionary he could find into this mass of pure fucking misery. It's probably not a surprise that the dialogue hasn't been changed, at least in this demo. While I don't think his life stories are worthy of amateur hour or even a low-effort TED Talk, the presentation is honestly kinda clever. It actually adds a little more flavor that was severely lacking in the base game, even though I would imagine instead of rewriting the whole character or making edits to make it shorter, it was just easier to implement 1,000 bandages and a lot of glitter to see if it sticks. The camera must be suffering from ADD because at times it adjusts in weird ways just so we can see our character. It feels like a mashup of Super Mario 64 and Resident Evil 1. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's at these weird angles trying to be fancy and shit, but makes moving around a little more confusing.
Please see if you can muster up the energy to walk into town and pick up some groceries. I've included a list below.
Not even home 5 minutes and she's already barking orders at me.
After bitching about his mom, Alex is now off to collect some groceries, but the roads are blocked off by some cultists.
A few hundred yards outside of town, I came to a junction. Mulling over the strangeness of being back home, I stopped to notice a forest I'd never explored. It was dark, but somehow attractive. I made a mental note to explore it later, and took a step towards town when I heard a meow near my feet. I pictured what it would be like to be the owner, and I imagined describing him to a friend. Of course, I didn't know this cat at all. We'd never met. He was a funny-looking cat, with a funny resting face and a Salvador Dali mustache. I couldn't imagine picking out this cat to bring home from a store.
I swear, why go into so much detail about a fucking cat with a weird mustache? And now we gotta chase it into this fucking building? Is this the agency for our main character? It's fucking procrastination! Suddenly I'm in fucking Belgium, and along the way we meet this woman and... Man, this top shelf Zaza got me feeling like Thunderball.
You're doomed. May you never fathom who you are. A dreamer. A sinner. A saint. No, none of those. A gamer. You like games, don't you, hon?
Whoa, Alex! Simping already? I mean, I get why, but have a little control, will ya? Yep, hard fucking simp. That's it, he's gone. I'll see you on the streets, Alex.
Only thing is... it's kinda dangerous to do it raw.
Yeah, remember, use protection. You don't want to spawn another one of this guy now, do you?
Don't worry, I'll be gentle.
Shorty got me on that Walmart discount cranberry. Why am I skinny? This whole tutorial is to teach you about the battle mechanics of this game, and since I have not played the base game, I will not be doing any comparisons to how it feels. But just overall, it looks like there is so much more going on. The battle system got a rehaul, and there are methods and many efforts to take on the enemy. This system runs on a timeline in which both your player and the enemy will be taking turns, either attacking, defending, or healing. The more you attack, you get PP points that can be used to perform bigger attacks. But as well, when you get hit, you might bleed out, and Dracula appears.
Blood on blood.
But you can stop it with bandages or slow it down with food. But it's best to stop it when you can, because when you're bleeding, it whittles down your health, making the hits on you that much more drastic. But the enemies also bleed, so it's best to take advantage of that. You have these cards here called Katra, which act as specials. I didn't really use them that much as they are kinda hard to get used to. One thing I don't get is that everything that isn't human turns into a pile of human bones. Are those actors in those suits? You do get this weird Castlevania guy to fight, which is a means of practicing, but I failed. Which probably doesn't matter, this is a demo after all.
So, what did you think? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
Are we gonna fuck?
But I'll leave you here to gain some experience. To chase the pussycat. Remember all that I taught you. Your future partners will be appreciative.
We keep going into this old factory where there's Nuclear Pink and this blue woman, who's probably great to be around during glow-in-the-dark mini-golf.
You're not supposed to be back here, you know.
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
What? You're looking for your cat? Oh. It's not your cat?
What can I say? Alex has a pussy addiction. Figuratively and literally.
Make sure this cat is worth it.
When we enter the building, it's when those New Amsterdam Altoids start doing their job. I really do like the trippy visuals this demo had got going on. It's honestly more like Alice in Wonderland, descending deeper, chasing a household pet because fuck it, we need some kind of driving force.
I sighed as the elevator began to shake, vibrating with motion. I pleaded with the mechanical gods to keep the power on. My prayers weren't answered. Damn it! The power's out. I need to find the stairs or a fuse box.
What the fuck is this perspective? You can also heal yourself and your party members at this water fountain. That's cool. You later get told on how to use the tool menu, which can be handy in solving these puzzles as we get one in the shape of an obese stuffed animal.
Relax and quiet down. It's me, Panda. My primary use is as a barrier. My metal shield makes me very heavy, so you can use me to hold down switches and to clear small gaps by stepping on my head. You can press to summon me. Remember to press again to call me back. Also remember that some weighted switches will have reverse effects if you take me off.
The puzzles here do make use of the tool that you are given. For a majority, Panda is told to stay in one spot and shit themselves as we do all the hard work. This is primarily for this segment and never again. There's this way to reach the Flame Princess, but I don't think you can jump in this game. So you sprint across the gaps like it's Doom.
She narrows her eyes and looks at the young man standing there. He is so tall, she seems to be looking far overhead. Their eyes meet. The young man smiles. His smile is meant to show he means no harm.
Ah, great, a theater kid. And she's doing Shakespeare too.
I don't understand. What's going on here?
Through the eyes of a high-flying dawn bird, we pretend to not see the eye of Providence.
Oh yeah. Oh, that thing. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of MLG parodies are going to be made now.
Yeah, like on the dollar. But what does that have to do with anything?
This game also makes note of some references it had taken inspiration from, which is honestly kinda neat. It gives us an idea of what the fuck the makers of this game consumed before making this. I can probably pinpoint at this and a few other places, take some notes from The Holy Mountain, a movie that got listed as inspiration. A fucking insane and really confusing movie, but it's great. I like a lot of films from Jodorowsky, but I'm more of an El Topo guy if anything. Now we have to go up to the Illuminati and poke it in its eye.
I don't know what made me do it, but I poked the giant eye.
All of this to make sure that we get the elevator going, to end up in this green screen, where we're not only being filmed for TMZ, we also get to hang out with some ethereal beings who are probably just as confused as we are. The music actually isn't that bad here. It feels like they got a grasp on when to do the quiet moments, and when to implement music. Some of the tracks I do like, such as this track for the battle tutorial. And this soft track in the factory. The battle tracks sound a little more tighter and well put. Is it shocking to some that YIIK is slowly becoming more competent? Alex? Oh, thank fuck. We actually meet this woman called Sammy, who we find on this tree, who gives off this implication that she is not of this world, claiming this place to be her home and not knowing what an elevator is. Despite her character being based off of that weird case that ended in someone's death. That's not good, guys. It's not the fact that they took inspiration from an actual tragedy. To be honest, a lot of games do that. I'm just not sure why the game's creators had to mention it in the first place. They could have not done so and it would have been just fine. It just makes this quote-unquote love connection between this woman and this guy who thinks Family Guy memes are funny all that more uncomfortable.
Is that the cat who looks like Salvador Dali?
I don't know who that is. My cat just looks like Dali herself, not another cat named Salvador.
Ah, fucking Christ.
I said, right, I saw a cat earlier. He had a funny mustache and crazy eyes. Naturally, my description of her beloved feline was offensive to her. Sorry, lame joke. Let's just look for the cat.
So now we got Sammy as a party member, and right as you leave, you're taken to this bit where you have to open both of these doors to open this eye and look at it.
Dali, where have you been? I'm so happy to have you back. Oh, who's a good cat? You are. Oh, I should probably tell you about Dali. Dali is a tool, much like your stuffed panda friend. Use Dali to fetch items and hit switches that are too far away for you to reach. Dali can jump, so don't worry about her falling down any gaps. This will be useful, so make sure you try it. Okay, so shall we get out of here?
Which we find Dali. That's the cat's name, I just remembered. Which can be used as a tool for this next puzzle, which honestly I was impressed with. Wish there was a puzzle that utilized Dali and Panda. That honestly would have been neat. These vending machines where you get items are more scaled up, and we even get some of Alex's reactions to said items. It honestly gives this demo a little more personality, and it just holds so much meme potential. The problem comes when you try to leave the menu. At the time, I didn't know what the keys are, so essentially I ended up trapped in the vending machine, not being able to afford rent, let alone a Snickers bar. The issue here is that the escape key is to quit the whole game, not to exit out of a window. So for a time I just ended up molesting my keyboard trying to find a way out of it. I could just be an idiot and maybe it told me somewhere. And you know what? I am an idiot. You only had a small picture to look at. That had all the controls. And that was before you booted up the game. So if you forgot this game's controls, tough shit, Charlie. Once you've started the game, there's no way of finding out what keys did what. As in-game, there's no option to find the controls or even rebind the keys. Look, demo or not, this is not a good way to get someone used to your controls, especially if you've got some new people who are just trying this out. Oh shit, here comes the fucking warlord! So, this transformer and this bootleg Starman need some power because someone forgot to charge them. With all that being said and done, a portal takes us to whatever jump cut it takes us to. It turns out we were in a film, which explains Gaspar Noé peeping on us. Sammy asks for some help, and the crow here is absolutely having an online relationship mentality.
Anyway, we've been growing apart for years, and I think it's time I have him evicted.
The ideal woman is a landlordess.
Do you think you could help me with that before we leave?
She is totally into me.
Hey, Wilhelm?
Holy shit, I know which crow this is! It's Edward Furlong!
Quote the raven nevermore, motherfucker!
Now Alex is going feral over goth twinks now. You're out of control, man. So Sammy is the landlady of something and is throwing out Wilhelm out of the building. This mech that looks like the mech from another game that I was reviewing.
I'm going to have to kick you out.
This battle here has you juggling your 3 members, which I would imagine is being demonstrational for the sake of it. Wait, what? What just... Eh? Crow, what the fuck was on that stick?
Blessed are those who dry their feet of the blackened pond, for they will inherit the question of reality.
I didn't think this game would have any kind of physics. So we get our cat back. I guess Alex here has to go back to his normal life.
Is that your hobby?
Is what my hobby?
Staring off into space and screwing up your face as if to say, what's going on inside my head is really important, so just let me think.
Hey, I don't make that
Nah, just kidding. Sammy gets turned into pixels, and Alex tries to save her from being some kind of sacrificial lamb. I'm just gonna let this thing play out and see what sense you make of it because it's fucking gonzo. Nice fucking move, Alex. Oh well, back to porn then. I don't think it matters if we save here. And then we cut away to an entirely different area. We see this guy here. He's Michael, developing some photographs and taking part in an auction of some kind. At this point, nothing really is of high importance.
Well, is she listed? No, tonight's auction isn't her. It's something I don't understand. An abstract desire. I really don't get this one. It's not anything you or I could relate to.
So, is your plan working or not?
Oh, I don't know if I'd call it a plan yet. My forum's grown, so something is happening. New crowd isn't great. Edgier than I expected.
Yeah, don't make a subreddit. It's just going to devolve into cancer anyways. And his camera is now this fucking superhero watching his creator suffering from burnout?
Birds of a feather. The question remains, why that image? What about your outside predicament?
Don't remind me.
And that's it. No, really, that's the whole demo. And what a footnote in the whole world of YIIK. Brian and Andrew Allison must have saw that YIIK was pushed out, suffering from numerous issues. But what I took away from this is that they wanted to make YIIK, despite having more holes in its body than a fucking golf course, a much better experience. One filled with personality, more adventure, a stronger sense of direction, drama, and storytelling, and that Nameless Psychosis, in my eyes, is at least a step towards the right direction. Now, while there were some major aspects that I felt weren't worked on that much from the base game, i.e. the plot and the dialogue, the quality of life improvements help breathe more life into the game's presentation. The updated battle system is more engaging and requires some practice to get used to. The Surreal imagery is cranked up to 11, and overall it feels more alive. The functionality is solid, but this could have been tweaked to make it a bit better. The controls should have had their option in the game rather than before it. And maybe the ability to reconfigure the keys. There might be a few glitches other people ran into, which I haven't. For this, we're only given parts of a story, so I'm not sure what to make of it. Or even the other characters we never saw or even spent time with. If I were to take a guess, a lot of their dialogue would still be pretty cringy, as it would be lifted from the base game, but with slightly better presentation. I wouldn't know if they brought back the voice actors for some new bits. I mean, they teased us with new characters that were voiced, so that's a possibility. I don't know what to make of YIIK IV or YIIK 4. Don't know what happened to the other games. But Nameless Psychosis has given me a glimpse of what it could be, and if that can still deliver what this demo has offered, this could give YIIK the ultimate comeback. Upgrading from a half-baked game with a shitty protagonist to a good game with a somewhat shitty protagonist. I might have gotten some things wrong since I haven't played YIIK, so maybe there's some drugged up diehard wanting to rip me a new one for everything I said in this video. Really, I decided to take on this because it is free, it is short, and it's sure as hell interesting and not that bad. Because I would be lying if I didn't say I had a bit of fun with this. Wishlist the game? I must say no. Maybe another time.